What's going on, my fellow stock market sickos and degenerates out there? It's your boy Kevin. Welcome back to Touchdown Trades. AMC stock is back on the move again. It's made a very impressive move over the last couple of weeks due to a huge announcement from their CEO, Adam Aaron. He came out and dropped a bombshell that AMC is going to be doing a special dividend, a preferred equity unit for all shareholders. And this is huge for the stock and the company. It can either send the stock flying higher, we could get that short squeeze that everybody's been talking about, or it could be really detrimental to the stock and send it crashing down. So in today's video, we're going to be analyzing the news, talking about what it means and what it could result in. I'm going to play out both scenarios, why this could be really good for the company and the stock, and why it could be bad, and what can happen in both of those scenarios. We'll talk about any fundamental changes in the company and take a look at the technical analysis side of things and break down the chart. And finally, I'll talk about whether or not I'm buying AMC stock. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this one. If you have any interest at all in AMC stock, maybe you're already a shareholder, you're going to want to stay tuned. This is very, very, very important for the future of this stock. Let's break it down. Let's get it. All right, I got the daily chart pulled up on the screen. Let's do a little bit of a recap, and then we'll get into the recent news that is absolutely huge. All right, so we were kind of chopping around in this $9 to $15 range for the better part of the last couple of months. The news comes out the other day, boom, we hit this uptrend, and now we're currently trading above $20 per share. Here is the key area that we need to watch from a technical standpoint. It is that $27 to $30 price point. You have a test here. We held support. Then boom, we have a lot of volume trade in this area. When we finally broke below it, then we come back up and test it again here and fail. So it's obviously a very key area, and that's what we need to keep our eye on. However, we also have support in this area down here. Boom. Very key area of support in this $18, $19 price point area. So we have resistance up here at the, let's call it $28 area, and we have support down here in this $18 area. So here's the massive news release that CEO Adam Aaron dropped a couple weeks ago. He announced a special dividend of AMC Preferred Equity units. This is huge in my opinion. This is going to make or break this move. This movement is going to hinge on this. I believe that Adam Aaron knew he had to do something. The time was now. He had to act on this momentum, and it's actually a smart idea if they implement it the right way. It could, however, backfire and be a catastrophe, and we'll go through both of those scenarios. But first, let's break down this and talk about what it means and what it is. All right, so the company has applied to list AMC Preferred Equity units on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol APE, APE, starting August 22nd. The AMC Preferred Equity units can convert into common stock, but only if the company proposes and investors vote to approve an increase in the number of authorized shares of common stock in an amount at least sufficient to permit the conversion of the AMC Preferred Equity units into common stock through a common stock amendment. All right, so what the hell is a preferred equity unit? What is a special dividend? That is what we need to understand first before we talk about anything else. All right, so if you own one, let's be very simple here. If you own one share of AMC stock, you're going to get one of these preferred equity units at a value of 1 cent per unit. So if you have 1,000 shares of AMC stock, you're going to get 1,000 of these APE units. And these APE units are worth 1 cent each. So that would give you $10. And they're going to trade on their own. They're going to be a separate entity, completely separate of AMC stock, but they are going to be tradable. They are going to be liquid. So you're going to, if you have 1,000 shares of AMC stock, you're going to get 1,000 of these APE preferred equity units that you could sell or you can hold. And their initial starting price is going to be at 1 cent, but it is going to be a market, right? They can go all the way up to $10. And then if you have 1,000 of them, it'd be worth $10,000. They're going to trade. So they could also drop in price. They could go under a penny per share. It could become worth half a penny per unit. It's going to be similar to a stock, but it's not really a stock. It represents one of these preferred equity units. It's going to be trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the ticker APE. All right, now that we know what this special dividend really is, it's basically just a dividend. AMC saying we're rewarding you for being a believer in our company and a shareholder, and we're going to give you this 1 cent per share dividend. All right, but that's a very basic, rudimentary breakdown of what this is. We really need to do a deep dive to better understand how it can impact the stock in a positive or a negative way. And this is the most important thing here. It could turn into a dilution of AMC stock. And this is the most important aspect of this press release. The AMC preferred equity units can convert into common stock, but only if the company proposes and investors vote to approve an increase in the number of authorized shares. So the only way this could turn into a negative for AMC stock is that the AMC shareholders say, okay, we're going to allow these to convert to common stock. And then AMC comes back out and issues more of these preferred equity units, which would then dilute the common stock of AMC. Dilution is never a good thing unless the company is on its last leg and they need to raise capital, which we have seen AMC do in the past. But in order for that to happen, the AMC shareholders would have to vote and approve it. Adam Aaron, the CEO, went on to say the dividend of AMC preferred equity units exclusively to our shareholders, in our opinion, is perhaps the single biggest action we will take in all of 2022 to fundamentally strengthen AMC for the long term. This new AMC preferred equity gives AMC a currency that can be used in the future to strengthen our balance sheet, including by paying down debt or raising fresh equity. That statement there is a little bit disturbing to me. So you're saying initially that it is to reward your shareholders. But if you read into further detail, he goes on to say that it could be used in the future to pay down debt or to raise capital. And like we just said, that can result in diluting the stock. All right, so Aaron concluded this AMC preferred equity unit dividend has tremendous potential to create a meaningful value for both AMC and for our shareholders as we continue on our glide path to recovery and transformation into the new AMC, bigger, bolder, and stronger than ever before. We've been waiting for AMC to make some changes. I have been a little bit of a critic of AMC, the company, and the stock, and I have always said that if something changes fundamentally, I'll change my stance. I personally thought it was overvalued after the big run-up, even if there were a bunch of naked shorts. But we have since pulled back, and I think this is a really good step in the right direction if it's done the right way. And we'll talk about how it could go south here in a sec. So back in 2013, AMC shareholders voted and made something like this possible. But they voted to allow billions of these things to be issued. So initially, they're just issuing one for every share of AMC stock. I think it's about 500 and something million of these things, which will represent 1/100th of a share of AMC stock. So here's where things get tricky. Is AMC Holdings doing this to just reward the shareholders with a dividend that could be really good for shareholders and could trap short sellers? And we'll discuss that in more detail in a second as well. Or are they doing it as a vehicle to potentially raise more capital in the future and dilute the stock float? That is the big question. If they're doing it to reward shareholders, if you have faith in the CEO and that he's not playing games, then it's a really good thing, and it could trap short sellers, and this stock could absolutely explode. But if they're doing this as a vehicle to raise capital in the future, it could absolutely send AMC common stock crashing. All right, so the ex-dividend date is set for August 22nd. This is very important because if you buy in after August 22nd, you're not entitled to get that preferred equity unit. And if AMC shareholders vote to approve these equity units to be converted into one share of common stock, then the stock's price may come down because there may be some dilution. So it's going to be very interesting to see if people continue to buy into AMC stock after the ex-dividend date of August 22nd. So if you buy in before August 22nd, you will be entitled to your one preferred equity unit. All right, so we've talked about how this could be a negative for the stock. If dilution occurs, it's never good. And remember, AMC has raised capital up in these areas here. They've raised capital several times since this move started. So they've already diluted the stock since pre-pandemic trading. The stock has been diluted. So if more dilution occurs, it's never a good thing. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is CEO Adam Aaron actually doing this to benefit shareholders and reward them with a special dividend, or is this being done for a vehicle to raise capital and dilute the stock further? But let's move on and talk about how this could send the stock flying higher and could result in a massive short squeeze. All right, so AMC APEs, the AMC APE movement believes that there's naked shorts and that this stock is heavily shorted. There's no dispute on my part that this stock is heavily shorted. I'm not saying there's a bunch of naked shorts out there. I'm sure there is some naked shorts stuck in this. Here is where this short squeeze could absolutely come into play. All right, so if there are brokers lending out shares of AMC, there's naked shorts. They are responsible for this preferred dividend. Remember, it's starting out at a price of 1 cent per APE unit. Okay, so any short seller, in order to stay in their position, is responsible for that 1 cent. They got to pay that 1 cent per APE unit. So if they're short 1,000 shares, they got to pay $10 on that day that it starts trading. All right, so let's say there's naked shorts. This is where brokers could get stuck, and it could be a big issue and send this thing absolutely sky higher. If there's naked shorts and there's no real person responsible for paying this APE unit, the short seller is not on the hook, the broker's then on the hook. And if these APE units start trading higher than 1 cent per unit, this thing could get ugly, and these brokers could start covering their ass trying to cover their short positions. And if that does happen and they start covering their short position, there's tons of buying coming in, these short sellers are getting out, this thing could moonshot and retest recent highs. It's going to be very interesting to watch. This could have been a very brilliant move by CEO Adam Aaron. He could realize that there are short sellers and brokers who are ultra leveraged to the short side regarding AMC stock, and this is a way to kind of trap them in there and result in another massive squeeze, or it could be a vehicle to raise more capital, dilute the stock, and it could be ultimately a negative. I really want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Finally, here's where I'm going to be watching AMC. I'm currently not long. I do not have a position, but that area that we talked about, that $18 pivot down there is the support area that if I am going to buy any pullbacks, it will be down into that $18 support area. I'm not saying we get back down there before the move happens, but if we do, it may trigger an entry on my end. I love you guys. Remember, I'm way too stupid to be a financial advisor, and if you take this as financial advice, then you're probably dumber than I am. I love all of you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until next time, peace.